What is up, guys? The Strong Boys 19 here. This is going to be the next album review in the Rolling Stones discography, and I'm pretty looking forward to review this album, as that this one has a bit of fun memories for me, and I would immediately say that this has been one of my big favourites in the discography, and I'm going to be talking about the 1981 album Tattoo You. So Tattoo You, the second album overall to be released from the 1980s output of their records. Tattoo You is, to me, the best of the bunch. Would consider this album to have the sound of the Stones, back in full swing, back into action, as the sound of the band was really passionate and charming and, full of optimism once again with this record. And also the production is excellent. It has one of the best and glorious guitar distorted sounds. Here are some facts that I have said about this album. Tattoo You is the 16th studio album by the Rolling Stones, released in 1981 on August 24th. This is the follow-up to 1980's Emotional Rescue. Most of this album's material had been composed of outtakes from previous recording sessions, some that were taken back from the previous decade with new vocals and overdubs. Some of the material to this album were actually written during Emotional Rescue's sessions, that they would be included for this album. The album released 3 singles: Start Me Up on the 14th of August, Waiting on a Friend on the 30th of November, and Hang Fire in April 1982. Unfortunately, there was some difficult tensions between the band as Jagger and Richards were not getting on, some obligations on the touring, and difficulties on booking the studio sessions. Keith Richards had this to say in 1993. The thing with Tattoo You wasn't that we'd stopped writing new stuff. It was a question of time. We'd agreed we were going to go out on the road, and we wanted to tour behind a record. There was no time to make a whole new album and make the start of the tour. Upon release, the album received positive reviews. Once again, it was produced by the Glimmer Twins, Jagger and Richards, on the Rolling Stones label. It has been the final Stones album to reach number 1 in the US at the top spot on the Billboard 200, and fans cited it as one of their best albums. I would definitely seek this one out as a strong recommendation for anybody that wants to dive into the Stones discography, and of course with the other obvious classics from records from the 60s to the 70s output, being my favourite era of the Stones from the late 60s to close to mid 70s. I'm going to dive into most of the tracks. The first and most overplayed single on this era of the band is Start Me Up. Besides the overplay heavily on this track, the sound of it is really still big with the beat, and the simplicity of the structure is really good. Its thumping drum sound was done with the bathroom reverb technique. It is still a great song without a doubt. It was actually recorded during the sessions of Some Girls, and it was actually going to be a reggae-orienting sounding song with a different track title called Never Stop, but it was scrapped. Hang Fire. Nice vocal harmonizing on the start, and the track is one of the faster paced songs. There are some very good lead guitar works and the bass lines while the song is building up its energy. And this song lyrically was based on the country's economic decline of the 1970s. It is a very good song to follow up the previous opening track. Slave. Now, this is another one that is one of my personal favorites on this album. This involves Billy Preston for the keyboards and Sonny Rollins for the soloing, plus Pete Townsend from The Who did backing vocals, contains once again a brilliant guitar solo. This is more of a dancey, bluesy, jammy kind of style. This is really, really good. It is an awesome song. Little T and A. This is a song that Keith Richards does lead vocals. This music is heavily inspired by the rockabilly tone. It is a brilliant guitar sound with its extremely short delay effect, which sounds great, and it boosts up the sound. It brings it a notch. According to how the lyrics go, and I quote from what Keith says, every time I've had with somebody I'd met for a night or two and never seen again, and also about the shit that sometimes goes down when you just sort of bump into people unknowingly and not knowing the scene you're walking in on, You pick up a chick and end up spending the night in the dark, Black Limousine. This is a song where the Stones have returned their sounds to the blues touch. Jagger does some of the different spoken word-ish kind of flow on the vocals. Lead guitar work was done by Ronnie Wood, and the slide playing was actually inspired by licks from Hop Wilson, who is a Texas-based guitar player. And this one lyrically was on an aging relationship. Neighbours. This is a song that really boosts up the energy and the hard rocking touches. The vocals from Mick were quite hyper and dramatic as well. And this song was a leftover from the sessions of Emotional Rescue. Features awesome solos from Bobby Keys. This was inspired by the experience of Keith playing at high maximum volume that he got into complaints from the neighbours. Despite that being lyrically very simple, this is an awesome song without a doubt. In terms of one of the least favourites, I would have to go with Tops. And this is a song that was, at the time, with the involvement of Mick Taylor, the band's previous lead guitarist, for, I think, 5 years. This one is quite moody. The vocals were multi-tracked, and some more of the vocal harmonies. Nicky Hopkins did the piano additions to make the sounds really gentle. The percussion was done by Jimmy Miller. It is not a favourite for me, but, it's not really that bad of a song. It's still good, though. One of my big favourites on this album is No Use in Crying, which is an excellent gem. I absolutely love this song from start to finish, and the soulful, beautiful harmony on the singing really makes it so stellar. This is a song that was from the Emotional Rescue sessions as well, one of the best songs on this record. The closing single, Waiting on a Friend, no words needed really. Excellent classic single of a song, and that is, for me, still my favourite on this entire record. It is heavily executed in the songwriting, and the piano was glorious with the beautiful melody and the chords that were well played, and contains some of the greatest soloing from Bobby Keys' saxophone playing. It's just one of the standout, major favourite singles from their career. So Waiting on a Friend to close off this album ends on such a fantastic note. Tattoo You by the Rolling Stones is a brilliant record from start to finish, and I would definitely put this in as close of being one of the top 10 best Rolling Stones albums. I'm going to give Tattoo You by this band a really high 9 out of 10. And please let me know what you think of this album. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.